All right, so this session is going to be just a lot of smaller tools, even more so than the previous session on databases. There'll just be things that could help you sort of tips and tricks that can help you with your research. Most of them, again, aimed at helping with your library research, although some of them have to do more with your own managing your own data. So going all the way back to yesterday morning, remember Professor Hoffman said that he uses RSS to get his tables of contents. That is actually the preferred solution, I think. But there is this older service as well, if you want to use it, called Journal Talks or Journal Tables of Contents. It's a selection of 30,000 journals, including they advertise 12,000 or nearly 12,000 open access ones. And it can just keep you up to date if you sign into here as what is going on in a current journal. So if you pick, for instance, oceanography, just scroll on this side to actually find what the current thing is. Let's take this one. This symbology means something. Let's see. So hybrid journal. So this, this is one of those ones where individual articles can be open access. You can use this as an actual search tool to get access to content. No, let's see. Expand all. Not found. Okay. Let's see. Let's try something else.
You might have to. You have to sign in.
Oh, I don't have an account. That's the problem. All right. Well, okay, so the problem. The short answer is that you can use this as a search for your current awareness services. As I say, this is now being competed against by, to some extent, RSS, but also Twitter as well. But it has access to this tables of contents for journals. The problem is, well, I mean, not a problem. It's just that you can use this as a way of getting access to the current content of a journal. And I think it'll indicate what, if they have in a situation like the one I'm showing here, where it's current, or it's partial open access. But you can see here that it has a way for the entire journal. It'll indicate which articles are available freely. That's really the whole thing. All right, so then two other tools that I want to show that are a little more in depth are both what are called citation managers. Anyone use these before, either Mendeley or Endnote? Few hands going up. Okay. So yes, both these are available to you. Endnote and Mendeley both have desktop clients and also web clients. So you can do a lot of work with them away from a given instantiation. But also, if you've got an installed system, you can then expand your storage capacity up to the limit of your hard drive, obviously. I'm signed in here in Mendeley, and it has this, you can tell they're trying to make this kind of a social network kind of thing. You have this feed, and it wants you to do things like friend people, so to speak. I actually know Ann Rao. I don't know if those folks. It suggests articles to you that you might want to add to your own library. More interestingly, it does actually say, if you scroll down, when you get cited, which is kind of fun. This is less interesting because I have cited myself down here. But even so, I mean, like if you go back further in time, let's see. I published a paper in July of this year. I was also cited back in June by somebody else. That's cool. And you can like things and comment on them. If you like that functionality, it's fine. The real sort of meat of the system is this library view. This is, the core. This is what Mendeley sort of used to be. Is just the library view, and it's taking a minute. Time was there was a big distinction between your online library and your desktop one. Let me close out of this here. Oh, boy. All right, so I have here a collection of articles that I've put together, citations that I want to hold on to. And in some cases, I've even uploaded the entire content. So I have this PDF icon here. And you can mark them as read or unread. And you can just easily drag and drop those things into there. And you can also do things like create a folder and put a folder in a folder. The folders work as a tagging system rather than as a storage per se. So you can have the same article in multiple folders. So if you're citing the same article in two different papers, you could say, okay, this is for paper A I'm working on. It's also for paper B. I want to cite it in both cases, and that's not a problem. They've long supported sharing you can create a group and then invite people who have Mendeley accounts as well. So if you are co-authoring something or you're part of a lab group and you're all in sort of a journal club together, you can share papers that way. And you can just drag and drop papers into there. One of the neatest features of this, let me open up a database again. I'll use Scopus this time. I just want to find a paper to drag into here. Let's take this one. All right, so here's a science paper. If I just grab the PDF right here. There we go. I'm sorry, it's taking so long. All right, I'm not going to bother trying to do this because it's taking too long. What you can do is drop a PDF right into this, and it will immediately parse out the information that actually goes into the citation. So when I dropped in inhibition of biofouling by marine organisms and their metabolites, all I did was just take the raw PDF and just drag and drop it to there. It immediately created the title in there because it can read the PDF itself and identify the sections that are tagged as being metadata for the article. So that saves you a lot of work regarding actually filling out the information. Of course, you can also edit the citation itself. If you need to, you can say, if I hadn't yet attached the PDF, I could do it right here. And if something is wrong about it, you can edit this citation saying like, oh wait, they left that one author. I wrote this. I didn't.
Does that have an option?
No, you can't, but you can change that. It's more useful in this case here where you say notes. You know, you can say, for instance, saying like, this paper is useful for XYZ reason. And that comes into play a lot if you are either using this as a citation to write a paper, or if you're in a group and you're saying, hey, everyone, look at this paper for this reason. Check out paragraph 5. It bears upon our current research for this reason. The one feature that is not yet supported in the desktop, the online client for Mendeley is what's called the Write and Cite feature. I won't try and load this now, but if you open Microsoft Word, or I think it also supports LibreOffice, which is software I've heard of, never actually used. I think it's just a free version that is compatible with Office. You can then install a plugin for that called Write and Cite, which allows you to draw in your desktop version of this library. You need to actually, download the client from Mendeley as well. And then you can then write and say, okay, now insert this citation here, and you can format it in a given way. So if I wanted to write a paper and cite this one here that says graphene quantum dots from particle and particle systems characterization, I could do that within Word without having to go out, and it would format it for me. It would insert it into the text, and it would add it at the end as well as bibliography. It's generated dynamically as I write. So that's still the value of having the desktop client installed in sort of the old-fashioned way. There's the basic version of Mendeley, which is free, or say it's an added feature of that's put forward by, I think, Elsevier. Yeah, and it comes with the ability to share with a certain number of groups and a certain amount of online storage. They're always increasing that. I can't remember what the current limit for it is. But what you can also do is apply for a premium account. Normally there's a certain fee for that, but as Cornell students or current Cornell affiliated individuals, you can do is get in touch with me, and I will put your name over to Mendeley's staff, and they will upgrade your account for free, at least as long as you're at Cornell. And that expands your online storage limit and your number of possible groups you can collaborate with, or at least individuals, and up to beyond that too. They always keep increasing both the basic limit and the premium limit, so I don't even know what it's at right now, but I can do that for you if you'd like. There are some other features that they have in here. There's the feed in the library, as I say. Also this suggest thing, which sort of makes guesses as to what you might want to read next. I don't know how good it is. I think it reads your current citations and thinks of things related to them, or your current library contents. There's this groups thing here, which is, I think, their version of like Facebook conversations. There you go, my sample group is just a test. You can create both private and public groups if you want to just find people to discuss a certain topic out in the world. Not sure how much you want to do that. There's this datasets function here, which, again, I don't know much about the quality of, but it's a way to host data online. Let's see, let's do a search. See what's out there. Influence of fish mortality on the freshness of fish. Maybe more interesting, they have these two other links here for careers and funding. And they search jobs, and you can actually like set the limit for miles or location. And the funding lists. There you go. That's wrong. Okay. There you go. More than 0. Okay. So yeah, it lists those. So this is currently announced grants or what have you, and do a search of the entire thing. And I think you can set alerts as well. Let's see. Your profile was added. I think this is just a different index of your feed activity. So that's Mendeley. You can just see how much they want to be like an all-encompassing research dashboard, and their functions are of different quality. As I say, you don't have to use any of these except the library view is the really sort of beating heart of this system, and it works pretty well actually still to this day. They've reduced everything down to a level of searches and drags, and is very intuitive that way. Endnote is a product of Clarivate Analytics, which are the people who bought Web of Science. They're also pretty good. I know less about them, and I'm less familiar with using them. I haven't used them myself to write any papers yet. It's a little bit of more still of a dedicated citation manager, and less of an all-encompassing system. Their real strength with that is adding and importing articles and citations straight from databases. There will usually be in a database like Scopus or Engineering Village or something, the option next to an article just to drag down and say add to EndNote, and it will do that directly to it once you've installed the plugin. So once you click on that, it'll add it right to this. I only have one sample article in here that I added just as a sample reference. But you can, again, create folders and separate it. Yes?
Does Cornell have a license for EndNote?
You know, it's weird. Certain colleges do, and other ones don't. You can get this free version here. There is also there's also the desktop client as well that has the same sort of functionality for write and cite as well.
It's College of Ag and Life Sciences that has a license.
So they have one, and at the college, and like I think
The
AE.
human ecology college.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, Cornell does not.
We're not in this college.
Well, you can't use it for free.
I mean, I created this account.
There is a free version. It has probably a limit on.
Right. I mean, I created this account, not being in those colleges myself. But yeah, so it's another competitor product out there. And it has the desktop client as well that has additional functionality that you can do. I should say that although they have storage limits for the free versions out there, if you use the desktop client, you can in theory have a larger library on your desktop if you have a larger storage limit out there, if you have gigabytes of space on your own personal laptop to spend hosting huge libraries. I have heard lots of stories that lab groups will maintain common folders sometimes of thousands of citations, like every paper they published, every paper they've read, and every paper that's cited their paper and so forth. So it can be quite large in some cases. Most of them made the transition away from RefWorks a few years ago, which you don't have a license to anymore. I know that for a fact. So those are two of several options. In theory, yes.
Do other systems support like exporting a text file or something like that?
That's something that I think Henrik can answer during his part on. Are you doing good tech or?
Yes.
Okay, he can answer that, I believe. Yeah, I'm less familiar with that system. Yes, so there are. I mean, if in terms of number of citation managers out there, there's always one more than every time I put this on. Someone mentions one I haven't heard of yet. There's always papers and a bunch of other ones that are being put out there recently. There are some that are focused on undergraduates. There's some that are focused on certain disciplines. There's
You want to show the main library Cornell page.
Right, there is
points to them, points to other ones that are supported by Cornell.
They're supported in the sense that we'll try and troubleshoot for you with a group of librarians who are familiar with this. Go down here to citation management. So for instance, there's Zotero, which is another one. Mendeley and Endnote. But then there's also, as I say, papers and a bunch of others. And you can send a question of any kind to us just using this link down below. It'll be sent to a group of librarians who sort of specialize in this, and we often will hunt for an answer for you if you don't know it ourselves. And there also are workshops offered on some of these by either the Olin Kroc URIS cluster or by Man Library. If you look those up under the workshops, they'll help you get set up with an initial account, or if you have one already set up and are having problems with it, they will try and help you to troubleshoot any problems you are having. And I'm sure they wouldn't mind it if a group came and talked to them at the same time. Any questions on those? Because if not, I will hand it over to Henrik Spoon.